Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you and a little part of our internet fam. I'm actually getting ready to go into the grocery store. I just need to grab a few things. I highly recommend Save A Lot. I go there for most of our shopping. There are a few things, if you're familiar with Save A Lot at all, you know they do carry some name brand things, but if you are very brand loyal, there are some that you cannot find here. So I do a lot of our shopping here, but there are a few things that I can't sway from the brand names on. So we do Walmart Supercenter for most of those things, and sometimes we go to Aldi's. Aldi's is actually in the next town over. We don't go there a lot because I just haven't really seen where the savings is there for me. Now, if you are like you have a gluten allergy, you're trying to get away from certain dyes, things like that, they do tend to have more brands kind of specific to that stuff. So I've seen a lot of those. Maybe that's why, I don't know, Aldi's just doesn't really appeal to me. But with all of that, we are going to go into Save A Lot. Just got off work and going to go ahead and get the grocery run done, so that way we can start menu planning. So if all of that sounds like something you may be interested in, be sure to stick around. We'll go through all of the groceries when we get home and talk a little bit about how I plan the menu to help avoid having to eat out and just scramble to make something for dinner. I really don't like just having to settle for a bowl of cereal, unless of course that's what I'm actually wanting, not because there's no other food in the house. So let's go. We are finally home and unloaded, and I'll go through all of this with you all. This, just a gallon of milk, obviously. I leave it in this bag because I always wash the gallon off before I put it in the refrigerator, because it's always just yucky. If you know, you know. It looks like I was just on a chip run, but if you've watched my pantry declutter, you'll see how we are over the chips thing. Because I went in there and I was wanting a sandwich for dinner, so that's where all these chips have come from. These I haven't bought in a while, so I was pretty excited about those. They have two smaller bags in there, and these we use, I'm planning on fixing like a chicken taco soup, so I really like these. And then these are lunchbox snacks, because sometimes I put the full size and they always get smushed in her lunchbox. Then of course we had to have grapes, and as a tip, I wash these, dry them, and then freeze them so they last much longer. And then when I put them in her lunchbox, I put a little piece of paper towel in the section that I put these, and then they are thawed out by the time she's ready to eat. This was on sale, I forget, that's a pound, and these were, I want to think, $3.99 a piece. So I got the seasoned chicken breast and the oven roasted turkey breast because I absolutely love those. And these I don't like kidney beans, so whenever I fix chili or the taco soup, I usually use these or pinto beans, or I think I've actually used pork and beans at some point, but I just do not like kidney beans at all. So I try to keep at least 2 cans of these on hand, plus 2 of another kind, but we were out of these. Then the diced tomatoes, if you have this stuff on hand, you can pretty much throw together anything for the most part. This I use for chicken casserole, and I have tried the Campbell's name brand, and I just do not like it at all. I like this so much better, and that goes for their chicken noodle too. I like the Save-A-Lot chicken noodle much better. And we have some chicken breast patties that we bought the other day from a local like butcher deli type thing, and I was really wanting some cream style corn whenever we fix those, so I got some of that. And this is, I want to think, let me look at the receipt and I'll tell you. The where is it at? $1.25. Yeah, this is $1.25, and I actually use this in my meatloafs when I fix those, and on the top of chicken casserole. I cannot tell any difference whatsoever between this and stovetop besides the price. So if you haven't tried this, I highly recommend this. Some people are very, very, very picky about their macaroni, shells and cheese. This, again, I like better than Velveeta. The Velveeta shells and cheese is just slimy to me. So, sorry if I've ruined it for you all, but you should definitely check into these because they are $1.59 a box, and I'm actually not sure how much Kraft Velveeta, whatever that is, I'm not even sure how much that is right now, but I'm about positive it'll be more than that. So we needed another thing of pepper. And these seasoning packets, sometimes I make my own, sometimes it's cheaper to do this. These were, I want to think like 59, 69 cents, something like that. And then I got some of that for the beef stew. I try to keep these on hand too, because you can also, I use this for the taco soup, but sometimes I use this whenever I'm fixing the meatloaf to just add a little extra in it. So sometimes I use those just because it doesn't say it on here. And I know this may be nothing new for a lot of people, but when I was younger, I didn't realize this, but let me see where it's at. Okay, right here. My mom was actually one that told me whenever she was like teaching me how to cook, even though it says that it's for beef stew, you can look back here and it'll show you what the actual spices are in this packet, and you can use them for so many more things. But it also has a little recipe right here, so you can use it there. Just a quick, easy meal if you're in there and you're, especially when you're just starting out, it really helped me out. So just thought I would throw that in there. And then we always get shredded cheese because I put it on taco soup and chili. We've used it on burgers, whatever. So I always get that. And again, this is the Save-A-Lot brand, and I noticed no difference whatsoever. This is chicken breasts, and I hadn't intended on getting any, but I always check the prices just to make for sure. And this was, let's see, 2.5 pounds for $7. So what I do is I go ahead and boil and shred this, and then I portion it out into freezer bags and have it frozen, and it's ready to, if I want to use it for the casserole or the taco soup. And then we have some ground beef, and this was, let's see, 2 pounds, $6.25. Well, I think this other one is actually a little smaller, not by much. It's 1.8, but $5.56. So roughly $12, and we got quite a bit. So what I'll do is I'll put this in the gallon freezer bags, and I kind of roll it out as flat as I can into the corners and make it, I'll try to record that if I can, but I try to make it roughly about a 1/2 inch thick, and then freeze it on a cooking sheet. until it is completely frozen, and then you can stack them side by side. I hope that makes sense. And like I said, I'll try my best to show you, but you can stack them side by side in the freezer, and it makes it so much easier to store. So the grand total for all of this food was $75.74. So I'll show you again just kind of everything we got. This will do us at least a week. Like I said, it was just kind of stuff to fill what we had already used. And I also picked up a flyer, so be sure to check whenever you go shopping, especially at some of these smaller stores. A lot of times they have these little 2-day sales. Sometimes they're advertised, sometimes not. You can look on their Facebook page a lot of times, but like this is just printed off on printer paper, and it'll show just different things. And what I do, and if you've watched my pantry declutter video, this is the binder that I write recipes in that we're going to try or that we've already tried, and it makes it so much easier when you have this and this together. That way you can kind of figure out what it is that you're wanting to eat as you're menu planning, and then you can know exactly what it is that you need to pick up, and you can go ahead and do, you know, a week to 2 weeks at a time based on what is on sale and what you already have. So that's why I like to keep inventory of what's in the cabinet and what is in the freezer and what it's in the fridge. So that way I just kind of have an idea, and I'm not buying so much stuff that we end up throwing the majority of it away because it's either expired or it gets pushed to the back and I just forget about it altogether, or I'm not prepared at all and we're having to eat out. And eating out's okay every now and then, but I like it to where it's planned and enjoyable, not to where you're just at the end of the day and everybody's exhausted, nothing's, you know, defrosted and ready to go, and you're just like, okay, let's go through McDonald's. And I don't know, I used to be that way, and I guess with age maybe things change, but eating out is just not what it used to be. I'd say that kind of goes everywhere, and not just taste-wise, but price-wise. Everything is just kind of so expensive. So I try my best to just be intentional about what we're buying to make sure that I'm not just buying things that are on sale. I'm buying things that we're actually going to use and eat at some point within the time that we have to do that. So anyway, thank you all so much for coming along. I hope you all have enjoyed it. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see y'all right back here next time.